Breaking news to CNN as we are following a deadly shooting at a school in Wisconsin. We now have details on the weapon that was used to kill at least 2 people, injure 6 others, and potentially take the shooter's own life.
We have CNN's Veronica Miracle with us with the latest here. Veronica, what are you learning?
Well, Boris and Brianna, we understand that the shooter used a 9mm pistol. That's according to our CNN's Josh Campbell. This is a gun that is pretty common and that is easy to obtain. But the question now exactly is, how did a child, someone who's under the age of 18, obtain that weapon? So according to a source, we understand a 9mm pistol was used in this shooting. Anything beyond this in terms of what, how old the shooter is exactly or what their gender is, we do not have that information. That information has not yet been released. We also understand that a teacher and a student were killed. Those 2, teacher and a student, are the 2 that have died. We also understand the shooter is dead. And then there are 6 people who were injured, and their injuries ranging from minor to life-threatening. So, of course, the numbers of the deceased could change throughout the day. We are expecting a press conference again from the police chief in about 15 minutes. We also understand that St. Mary's Hospital in Madison, they have been receiving patients from this tragedy, and in fact, they have had to close their offices to all other patients because of this. They have created a reunification center for parents. We've also been seeing throughout the day that parents have been reunified with their students here, being taken on buses. The small Christian school here serves anywhere students from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, so a big range, but very young children at this school. Serves about roughly 300 students, and there's about 55 staff members. But we are awaiting that press conference here in about 15 minutes. We're hoping to get more information. There has been confusion throughout the day of the number deceased, but right now, at this hour, we understand that 2 people have been killed, a teacher and a student. The shooter is dead, 6 people are injured, and a 9mm pistol was used by the shooter. Boris, Brianna.
Veronica Miracle, thank you so much for that update. We want to discuss the latest with Democratic Wisconsin State Representative Sheila Stubbs. She's actually set to represent the area where this shooting took place as of the beginning of next year. State Rep, thanks so much for being with us. I wonder what you are hearing from members of your community in the wake of today's shooting.
Well, thank you, Brianna and Boris, for this interview. My heart and my prayers are with the students, it's with the staff, it's with the families, and it's with the community of Abundant Life Christian School following this morning's tragic shooting. You know, as a parent myself and as a pastor, this tragedy hit especially close to home for me. So my thoughts are with Pastor Tim Fluttery and his congregation in this time of intense worrying and grief. But I am so grateful to our first responders for their quick action and for the continuing help to reunite students and families, because everyone deserves to feel safe in our communities, especially in our schools. And I just heard from my daughter today for the first time, and it's a hard time. We're asking for prayers from all around our nation to please lift up our community at this time.
And, you know, it used to be that it would be some time before I think folks would start thinking about how do you look at a policy prescription for dealing with something like this. But Assemblywoman, could you sort of talk a little bit about what you want to see lawmakers do? Is there more to be done in your state? And is there more to be done nationally?
Let me say this. First and foremost, no child should have to fear for their safety during the day of school. Especially when we enter this holiday season, my heart breaks for those who have an empty seat at their tables this year. I'm asking to keep the families in this community in your thoughts as we begin to address the aftermath of the situation and come together for healing. For years, I have been a strong advocate for gun safety measures. We see stories like this across our country. And today I am just heartbroken to see my community hurting like this, we have to do so much more to protect our kids and to protect our communities. And something must be done to put an end to senseless violence in our state and in our nation.
To that point, Assemblywoman, I just wonder where you think this conversation and policy prescriptions are headed, seeing as though in recent years efforts to enact some form of gun legislation and limit the amount of guns that are out there to contribute to scenarios like the one we're facing now. We've seen 83 school shootings this year by CNN's count, the most we've seen since CNN kept track of them. I wonder where you think this is going if we haven't really seen action taken on this.
Yes, today I just want to be so respectful to these families that are grieving, that are hurting our community. And I think that everyone who has spoken up, period, across our nation about gun safety, we're going to need everyone's help again. We're going to need people to show up at our state capitol and advocate for the safety of their kids in our schools. We have to just end this senseless violence. And as a legislator who's put forth common sense legislation, I'll continue to work bipartisan in this building, to work with my colleagues, to put together legislation that we want to see passed. Again, enough is enough, and we should not find one more family in this situation that's hurting when there's so much more we could do to prevent this type of situation from happening. But again, today I want to focus on supporting the families and those that are directly affected by this tragedy. And I want our law enforcement officials to answer as many questions specifically around this investigation, but I just want to say this in this interview, that I want to thank Madison Police Chief Dr. Sean Barnes and his team for what they're doing to continue to update us. I'll be learning more at 2:30 today, Central Time, for the additional briefing and information. But again, right now our community is hurting. Families they don't know what's really happened. We're learning bits and pieces. And so I want you to know, as the new legislator for this upcoming district, that I'm going to do everything I can do to be there for every one of my constituents and support them, but continue to introduce legislation that I believe will make a difference in our state. And I will continue to advocate not only at a state level, but continue to advocate at a federal level. We need everyone to listen. And those that are victims' voices need to be the loudest in the room.
Wisconsin State Representative Sheila Stubbs, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you.